there are differences between what we call structured exercise and unstructured exercise. So some people are just very generally active in their everyday lifestyle. They have their hobbies that may be active, they have a sport they like to play, and that is one of the best ways to just boost your overall health. I think the World Health Organization recommends something like 150 to 300 minutes of moderate exercise per week for an adult, and that's where a lot of health benefits come from. And of course, that's what we recommend. So if you find a hobby that's active, that's a good way to actually just integrate exercise into your lifestyle. But that's not exactly what we're talking about, because that's unstructured. If you have an impairment or people with an injury or anything that requires physio rehab, then what you're using to address that is something called structured exercise, and that's what tends to be boring. That's the kind of stuff we're talking about, trying to get those into your routine to actually get the benefits that address your problems specifically.
Yeah. So I guess people probably want to know, how many minutes is that a week?
Oh, good point.
Do you think? I'm trying to calculate it in my head.
My maths is really bad as well.
I'm coming up short.
Yeah. I think people can, just off the cuff, it's hard on camera, but people can do the calculations at home. I think it equates roughly to about 3 or 4 hours per week.
I was trying to divide 150 by 7, and then I was getting nowhere.
Yeah. Us physios aren't exactly known for mathematical prowess, unfortunately.
Terrible with numbers. Do not ask me maths-related questions, because they are not my strong suit.
Even if you do research, it's all on calculators and software these days.
Memorizing science-based things, much better.
Agreed.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I let the statisticians do the data. But no, I think it's around 3 to 4 hours per week. And that's, of course, the unstructured stuff, which in this case, the World Health Organization is referring to just play, fun, activity, overall health and well-being. That all comes under that. That's what you need for overall health is what's recommended. But yeah, structured is something different. I'll let Sam explain what that means.
So structured essentially is something where it has a specific goal, and there's a really particular way of achieving it. So something that's where we're going to focus on structured exercises today. So a good way to think about it is you have a goal for your, let's say, MS, your stroke rehab, you're maintaining your walking for Parkinson's. That's a really specific goal, and we take a structured approach to get there. Where then on the other hand, we have unstructured exercise options, which are things like I don't know, like playing soccer with your friends in the park, just a bit more general activity, going for a walk with your friend, things which don't have their end goal is something else, just having fun or staying fit or winning the game.
Yeah.
So yes, even though some of those things might be a structured event, they're not really any structured exercise towards a particular goal.
Exactly. And so I think as a bit of a I guess sort of a warning to people is that I sometimes see, I'll have clients that say look, I'm doing all this sport during the week, or I like to go on my walks every day. I don't really need to worry about rehab exercises, right? And in an ideal world, that'd be great, but unfortunately it doesn't work that way. And it's really important to still be able to work towards your specific needs based on your condition or your injury, etc. And that's what we're going to be talking. It's harder to do because it's more boring, it's more rehabby. It doesn't fit into your hobbies that are much easier to fit in and stay consistent with. And so all the tips and tricks that we're going to be bringing up, more so working on how to increase your structured exercise.
Yeah. But in saying that, unstructured exercises do give you some incredible perks.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I think one thing, we won't touch on too much today, but if you are at a level where you have a type of unstructured activity like soccer, football, hockey, walking with your friends, badminton, any kind of wheelchair sports that you love, oh my goodness, they give so many pros, and they almost inbuild so many of the positive things and the tips and tricks that we'll talk about later straight into it. So because they just give some really fantastic direction. They put you in a group with all the people working towards the same thing, and there's almost this common cause that you can piggyback on your own goals into this built-in structure and system. So if you're at a level and you have something that you love, that is a fantastic thing to keep up or even start.
And I'd even actually say if you're completely sedentary, so you don't have any kind of structured or unstructured exercise in your routine, finding something unstructured first is probably the best way to start. Just overall bang for your buck, finding an active hobby, as simple as just going for a little bit of a stroll consistently to the park every day is the best way to get started. And from there, you can sort of piggyback on and start to add more, rather than worrying about just rehab first.
Yeah.
And actually, as one more little aside, when it comes to trying to get your structured exercise in, I think an important factor is your overall energy levels. And so, of course, we mentioned like work being a big factor as well, but obviously your amount of unstructured exercise to the already doing plays an impact on how much energy reserves you have left.
Yep.
So it's good to keep all this balance in mind. And as another little plug, we'll have a future episode covering fatigue specifically and like how you can balance your energy. But as an overall thing to keep in mind, there's basically just a set amount of energy that you can conceptualize having every day. Different activities, work, different commitments like kids, different exercise routines you already have in place like sports are all going to take away from your overall energy pool.
Yep.
And so some days you might have more energy left over based on having less of a busy day. Some days you might have more. And it fluctuates every day as well.
That is one thing about unstructured exercise. It's typically because it's going to roll on no matter what. And the demand that it's going to place on you is typically always going to be relatively the same. You kind of know that if you're committing to it, you're committing to this long term. I'm always going to have to give this level of energy to this thing each week or each day or so forth. So being aware of that sometimes those commitments are longer term, and sometimes fatigue and pacing is so important and needs to fluctuate, that being aware of that and even building that into whatever unstructured thing you're doing can be really helpful from the outset.
100%.
Hey everyone, just quickly, could you please double check you've hit that subscribe button? Because it is the best way of supporting the show.
And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that bell icon as well, so YouTube will notify you when we have our new episodes out every week.